Hey everyone, thanks so much for clicking on my video. I thought it'd be so much fun to make some kind of content house. I was recently building like a pink house, an all pink house, and I was like, oh, it'd be really fun to do an influencer. And so I kind of got on this pipeline of like, oh, I should make like an influencer house. So I did start off with this build. Now this build is kind of like huge. It was huge. I still have the build, and I think I might wind up moving like the cast and crew, the influencers, the cloud content house, I think that's what I'm gonna call it, into this once they have enough money, so there's kind of a goal to get to. But in the meantime, what I wound up doing was just doing a completely separate build, and unfortunately I didn't get any footage from it, but I did get some I did do a house tour later, which I'll dive into. I think I want to show you guys my content creation. So I'm showing you the content creation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a background story on the characters. So here, this is Chef, right? So I'm thinking, okay, what do content creators do? What do influencers do? What are different kind of influencers? Go, oh, a cook. We're going to need like a chef for the house, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I want a house, or a chef. So before I made any of these characters, I made the bedroom. I did the build first. So I kind of went based off the decorations in the room, which you'll see when I show the house. You'll see exactly how the decoration fits Chef. I also based the kitchen entirely around him. So what I'm going for is this like kind of goth, but like new age goth, like influencer goth, like you know what I mean? Like they paint their nails black and they're just kind of experimenting, and they don't necessarily have the background into the culture, but they're also kind of nonchalant and they're not necessarily doing it for the views. Maybe this is something that they've stepped into and they found it something that they actually like and they choose to explore it more. Something's really off about Chef. When I started, I don't know what happened. I think I wound up moving his eyes down a little bit lower or something because his face just looked just a little bit off to me. So I wound up kind of moving him around. So Chef, I decided, was going to be not a loner, but like a little bit more kind of removed. He is romantic though. I was like, do I want to make him non-committal or romantic? Because non-committal would have been great for the plot, but romantic just makes my little heart happy. So I said, okay, I'm gonna make him a romantic. He's big into food, you know, he's a foodie, he's a chef, he's creative, and he's also a little self-absorbed. And when you look at him, you know, he's a bit of he is an influencer after all, and I gave every single one of the Sims that I created a negative trait, just to further the plot a little bit. I thought it wouldn't be fun if everybody was perfect. It wouldn't be fun to watch that. So I'm going through his outfits. I struggled with the pants. There's so many different pants and I just couldn't get the vibe right. And I kind of liked the jacket, and I wound up settling on, I believe, so I got to a point where it was very much giving twink, and as much I love a twink as much as the next person, but it just wasn't the vibe that I wanted for Chef, right? So I was like, okay, I think it's the shirt. I think that might be part of the problem. And then I was like, I don't know, the pants are giving like movie set director, like it just, nothing, the whole thing was just, it was like it was off by like an inch, you know? And so finally, after some more editing, I finally got him to look the way that I wanted to. Now, I'm letting my Sims choose the romantic partners that they want. The only thing they can't choose basically is their career or their aspirations. I chose that for them. So for Chef, he's a chef. Oh, also, Chef uses chef pronouns. That is not like making fun of like, you know, pronoun users. I personally use like they them pronouns. I just thought he's so much of a chef. Wait, because this is where, yeah, he's just so much of a chef that it's such a huge part of his identity that he chose to make that his pronoun. So his name is Chef. Chef uses chef pronouns, right? So I kind of got into it where it's like, okay, turtleneck, okay, the hair, like the look is kind of starting to come together. It's going down the path that I wanted to go down, right? But it was still not quite there. Like, he looks too old. He looks like he's my age. Like, he looks too old to be an influencer. So then I started like kind of playing with some clothes a little bit more, and I got him to like kind of the point I want him to get to. And then I wound up doing some adding some accessories and whatnot, and it all wound up working perfectly. He looked like exactly like how I wanted it to be in my brain. It came out absolutely perfect. I just adored it. I feel like Chef comes from like kind of a poor background. He doesn't necessarily have the privilege that some of the other content creators in the house have. It's why he's maybe a little bit rugged, why he's a little bit self-absorbed. Maybe he had to put himself first out of survival, or maybe he started working really young, or maybe this is money that he earned himself. He started making videos on the internet because he just really enjoyed sharing his passion for cooking and learning and sharing that with the world, and it really picked up for him, and he got an invite to the content house, and he thought, well, I could use the cash, and so he wound up coming in. So it's not necessarily like anything that he wants to do to get famous. It's more so an opportunity for him to share his art and for him to survive, Another thing worth noting is that the house is a very opulent house. It's very wealthy. Well, actually, so what I did when I was designing the house was I went for not like billionaire rich, but like millionaire rich. You know what I mean? So like they got like a couple million, they're comfy, they're cozy. It's not, anything more than you need for meeting your fulfillment needs and basic needs. A little bit extra, so it's still wealth, but it's not like this this massive display of wealth. So the first two windows that you see in the house are actually there to give the illusion of wealth. So the house is very much giving the illusion of wealth as opposed to actually going after things that cost a lot of money. Okay, so now we're moving on to Becca. This was, I think my clips are out of order. They were correct. So Becca, I saw this and I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I had in mind. So again, this was based off the room. So Becca is sharing a room with our other Simfluencers, who you'll see shortly. You'll introduce yourself to her shortly. So Becca is very much fresh out of like a very, very Christian household, very much was going to church, hasn't really had a chance to explore her own values outside of what's been taught to her. She's only ever been what people wanted her to be. So I really wanted to kind of play off that like typical Christian, girl, like a very simple kind of beauty. And I think some of the traits I gave her, I made sure to give her a generous trait, because I don't want negative connotations, associated with anything like that. I just wanted to see like what Becca's story is going to be and who the person she's going to become. Is she compulsively heterosexual? Is she, queer? Is that something that we're going to like lean into and explore a little bit? How's that going to play out? So I struggled kind of like finding her hair a little bit. I kind of had a vision for what I wanted her to look like, because again, she hasn't really found her sense of self. And so Becca is a beauty and fashion influencer, and she enjoys it. She loves that. She's not doing it because she has to. She's doing it because it genuinely makes her happy. She has a really good community of people. She likes inspiring young women. Like she's got a good heart, I forgot what negative trait I gave her, but we'll get into that in a little bit. It's interesting when Becca first comes into the house, because some of these things like I let play out completely naturally. There is a little bit of a storyline that I obviously have in my mind that I want to kind of use that as the bones and the structure. But as soon as Becca got into the house, both Vex and Bryce, who you're going to meet next, were interested in her. We're both talking to her, so I thought that was really interesting, and it'll be interesting to see how that kind of plays out. I didn't really give Becca a flaw. I just gave her genius. I wanted her to be kind of like a Virgo, that she very much is like the glue that holds these influencers together. Like she keeps them on a schedule. This place would not be running without her. So I gave her neat because I felt like that fit her personality very well. And we're also going to have some messy personalities come in, and I feel like there'll be some conflict there. So I do, I am kind of glad that I put that one in, and I don't necessarily see it as a flaw, but I do see it as something that could further the plot. So, moving on to Bryce, I wanted Bryce to very much look like typical, like frat bro, like daddy's money kind of thing, but be kind of completely opposite of what people assume he's going to be. So he's like huge golden retriever energy. He's just happy-go-lucky. He loves talking to people. He's a big sweetheart. I haven't really thought up what his backstory is going to be yet. I'm really excited to kind of see what will inspire me to give him a backstory and what it's going to be and what it's going to look like for him, because I have some very clear cut. Again, so when I was designing the rooms, the only thing I knew was that I was going to have an athlete in the room with Chef. So all I knew about Bryce was that he was going to be an athlete, and then I was like, okay, well, what can I do to make this character enjoyable and make him, I just wanted somebody who was like super sweet and outgoing and happy-go-lucky. I think maybe he was like an only child, or like a sibling of like two, like a pair of two. Maybe like the youngest or the golden child, and his parents went to all of his sport games and they really supported him. And maybe, I think it's kind of stereotypical to be like his parents pushed him really hard to be an athlete. I want him to be doing this because he wants to be doing this, not because his parents wanted him to, but because this is what he wants to do. But I think that, again, it kind of parallels with Becca in that this is what he's been expected to do. So even if it's something that he enjoys, this is what he's doing because he feels like it's what he's been expected to do. But maybe he'll explore and delve into other hobbies and see what else he likes, see what the world has to offer. So I think by far my favorite character to create was Vex. Vex is a love letter to all the girls that when I was a kid I thought were so cool. She's very much like Von Dutch, like Juicy Couture, but kind of like punk, like she's a cool girl. She's super cool. She's in a rock band, or she wants to be in a rock band. She's learning how to play guitar. Dex is definitely queer, like that is decided upon, and it's interesting because there's no settings or anything. She came in and was like Becca, and so she's rooming with Becca. Vex has definitely like seen some shit. I don't know what she's seen yet, but she's seen some things. I feel like she's like the oldest of like 4. She maybe also kind of grew up a little bit poorer, with her parents struggling to like meet the bills and stuff, just with having so many children to take care of. So maybe she also got a job really young. Like she knows what it's like to struggle, and she's had to fight for everything that she has. But Vex is everything that I wanted to be when I was like a young girl, a teenager. I just think it was really cool to be able to make this character and to see that play out. She's also like kind of vaguely based like aesthetically on Tara Yummy, because I just think Tara Yummy, like I love her fashion. I think she's so pretty, so she's kind of got a little bit of that tied in to her appearance. Unfortunately, my CAS was glitching like right out. I had to get a mouse out and plug in my mouse to my PS4 so I didn't lose. I was panicking, so I didn't get the full video of Vex's character creation screen. But basically from here, like I added a couple more piercings and I completely changed her outfit. But you guys are gonna get to see her outfit, so don't worry. So before I move into gameplay, I have to show you this house. I think I did a really good job with the story of this house because it's kind of plain and boring to look at. But let's just start with what it looks like. So outside, we have the basketball court. We have all of these athletic things for Bryce to use. We also have a rocket ship because we also have 2 more characters that are coming in later that I hadn't fully fleshed out yet, and also because CAS was crashing, I just wanted to get out of there and save, so they're gonna come in later. And I also think it'd be interesting, again, for the plot, to have them come in at a later point than to start out off the bat, because I know reality TV does that sometimes. So I love this backyard. There's a jacuzzi, there's like a little sitting area. Some of this is unfinished. There's some little things I want to add here and there. There's a little sitting area. There's a hookah bar, which was really interesting to see Becca try. There's like a little picnic table and a barbecue for chef. And then I like the pool. And so those floaties, Becca and Vex have already been using them. And then there's like a little sitting area back here. Because Becca is a beauty influencer, the only thing she can do in-game to actually play off of that is the videos with the more streams, more views like station. So I added this garden for her to go in and use. The front of the house, it's very nondescript. There's those windows I talked about. I want to add a lot more into this porch area. So it's all very cold because it's all for views, right? It's not really... Wait, you have to see Chef's kitchen. I love this kitchen. I'm so proud of this kitchen. I got these little lights because I think it really just works together. So I did a monochrome theme for him because I thought it would kind of fit like the goth vibe, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. We have the counters. I'm going to be going through walls too. There's a spatula there, a spice rack. There's some herbs drying up. There's some aprons on the wall. That little thing there, I like to pretend it's a spice rack. Here we have the breakfast bar with coffee and a menu so people can know what they're gonna be eating. That is Becca's board. Becca runs that board. Becca makes sure that is up to par. This is the dining room. There's also a little bar in there, just because it would be more interesting to throw some alcohol in the mix and for parties and stuff. There's that bubble thing. This one was hard for me to design this room. I just felt like it was so cold and empty, but it's also like kind of the theme, right? So it's a little... I wasn't super happy with this. Also, that thing on the wall there, that's a Sigma something. I don't know what it is. And no mischief in my house because it sounds fun, but it's just pissing people off. And I don't want that in here. This is my little living room. It's a tiny little living room. This house is not meant to be lived in. It is meant to be filmed. But I do think it's pretty cute. This is just where they go and upload everything that they need to be uploading, the videos, 2 at a time. There's lots of them. The bathrooms are disgusting. I hate the bathrooms. I didn't put much effort into those. I'm gonna fix those up next time I upload a video. I did want to keep it, okay wait, kind of bare bones. So this is Chef and Bryce's room. So we have like kind of like a very college student vibe here, and everybody has these computers off to the right. It was interesting, like kind of a challenge to have like these individual spaces in these shared bedrooms. Reminds me of those like videos where it's like you borrow screws from your aunt and you put the galvanized steel bars into the wall. This is Chef's spot. I love this little nook. I love that the bed and the rug match. I think that the whole thing is his vibe. This room, this is the 2 characters that are going to be added. There's not much going on there. The only thing I know about one of these characters is that they're going to be a streamer, like a video game streamer. This is Vex Spot. This is I think one of my favorite things I designed in the whole game. I love it. I think it's very reflective of who she is. I think everything ties together very nicely. And again, I think Becca's is also very representative of who she is as a person and who she's figuring out who she's going to be. I also like the little stars that I added. But yeah, that's it for the house tour. So because you guys didn't get to see Vex's full fit, I thought I would throw this in. This is just a clip of Chef flirting with Vex, which she was like completely reciprocal to, which I thought was really interesting. But there's something that happens after this. I'm not going to say too much, but there's something that happens after that. So I'm not going to include too much of the gameplay here. That'll be a separate video. But I just wanted to say thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see what adventures come next and what happens in the content house and what happens with the series, if anything does happen. I just really wanted to make this video. I had so much fun. I really did. I had so much fun making everything, and I had so much fun making the video, and I'm completely and totally out of breath. So I'm gonna head off and let you guys finish the video. Thank you for watching. Bye.